And if I was the Jets, he would be the guy I would have hired. But now they bring in Gaze, and you're stuck with him for at least this year. But if they keep him beyond this year, after what we've seen, where it's now getting worse, and Darno, when you did what you had at the beginning of the season, now you're questioning, is he good enough? And you cannot let him be, and his confidence will continue to go down and go down and go down if he's facing what he faced yesterday and a week before when he's seeing ghosts. And he's not the only one seeing ghosts.
Yeah, they all are. Oh my goodness.
No, I am.
The plight of the Jets fan. The plight of the Jets fan, folks, and you're hearing it live here on Snowman in the Morning on this Monday with my buddy Mark Kelly. I gotta go to a break, but man, thanks for calling in. I will be happy to come out of your show tomorrow morning before I hit the air.
Absolutely. Yeah. So give me a call. All right.
I will.
We'll set you up.
I will. Thank you, buddy.
Take care, buddy. Yep.
Oh man, I love it. 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 Mark Kelly calling in to voice his displeasure with the New York Jets and also to talk about what the 49ers did, what the Astros are doing. Just good to talk sports with them. Advertise with us. Folks, if you got a great business, a great product, and you want to get your word out there, you can use this platform. Drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. 7 minutes from now, you will hear the voice of Nick Thorson, the man who likes to call himself the Gordon Gekko of fantasy football. I can't wait to have this conversation. And I mean that in fun. He's a very good friend of mine. I can't wait to have him on. Going to pause for a break. When y'all come back, you'll hear me and you'll hear Nick the Quick. Snowman in the Morning, back in a flash.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before you're off CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada. Nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me, and I still looked amazing during the break. I think it's time for me to move. I've got a great resume, and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. Divide the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance. Find your nearest donation center. Go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
The Western Scrub Jay. I was taking my science class on a virtual reality bird-watching expedition. All of a sudden, Charlie Kane shouts, "Arr! Arr!" He had spotted an elusive black swift, a bird rarely seen in the wild. For a brief moment, Charlie had not the eyes of a 9-year-old boy. He had the eyes of an eagle.
Teachers just have better work stories. Find out how creative teaching can be at teach.org. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
This is Mario, and you know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdo.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12, the new HiQ energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Skyberry Fusion, Apple, coconut fruit punch, and lemon lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. High Q energy drink. Wing or for birds.
This is Snowman in the Morning. Sports Talk lives.
Thanks a lot, Doc.
Next! Welcome back to the Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Thank you to Mark Kelly for calling in. Y'all can call in at any time. 773-672-3208. But at this time, I'd like to welcome a fellow by the name of Nick Thorson. You can find him on Twitter at NickThorson6. He's on the hotline right now. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How's it going today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Had a group in a big fantasy league for myself, and a few other leagues didn't fare up so well. Another crazy day of football. Hey, that's why we watch. That's why we watch the game, right?
That's exactly why we watch the game. How'd you get into fantasy football?
Oh my gosh! I know. It's just one of those things. I've been doing it for about since the early 2000s. I just kind of started doing it, started playing. I was invited by a couple of coworkers, and then you get going. Now you get going, and it just kind of pulls you in. Fantasy football is it's like an abyss. It just pulls you in, keeps you coming. But the funny thing is, no matter the heartbreaks and the losses, you keep coming back.
Yeah, I only did fantasy football twice, and the first time I did it, I lucked up and got a legendary quarterback and a legend in the making. The legend in the making at the time was Peyton Manning. The legendary quarterback I got was
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
I had Steve Young and Peyton Manning on my roster the first time I ever did fantasy football. And they happened to play each other. It was 1998. They happened to play each other. I flipped a coin and started Steve Young, and because of that, I wound up winning that week.
Nice. See, hey, it's the luck of the coin toss. I know about that. I definitely know about the luck of the coin toss.
To all these daily fantasy programs that rejected my show and not wanting to sponsor my show, Nick and I are going to give you some content, and you will come back. I will reapply this week. Let's get down to business, shall we? Let's start with our game reviews, and I'm going to do this on Wednesday with my buddy Mike Debate from Full Press Coverage. What the hell was Matt Nagy thinking?
Good question. A lot of I bet Soldier Field is wondering that. They're still in shock.
What the hell was that?
Watching that game, actually, I think I needed a few Rolaids after that game.
They were running the football at will. They were running the football at will. And they gave up on the last drive of the game. You mean you couldn't get an extra 5 yards to get even closer for Pinheiro?
Right. And that's that was.
You mean to tell me you couldn't bang it in? You mean to tell me you wouldn't give the ball to Montgomery to have him bang it in from 20 yards out? Really secure the victory?
I mean, the guy's got he had 135, 137 yards.
135 yards yesterday.
But you didn't think the guy could get you an extra 5 yards? I was at a loss when I seen that, as I was watching that painful display of football at the end of yesterday's game.
Painful being the operative word.
And Coach Nate says he wasn't thinking about it.
No.
he just, I don't know what he was thinking about. What was he, what were you thinking about at that time? That's what I would like to know, and where I'm kind of curious.
You think that double doink by Cody Parkey last year would have given him a little bit of a clue to get stronger in the red zone? This is what has been plaguing the Chicago Bears for a few years now. Lack of red zone capitalization. I mean, they were living in the Chargers red zone yesterday, and they only got 16 points.
Yeah.
They were living in the Chargers red zone. The Chargers are one of the worst teams this year in red zone defense, and you mean to tell me you only got 16 points?
Agreed.
Meanwhile, the best team in the NFC and the 49ers lived in the Panthers red zone and got 51 points. I didn't lose him. I did lose him. Doggone it. Well, as my friend Mark Farina would say best, modern technology. Oh boy, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that, folks. When you're dealing with technology and when your guest suddenly drops, I had that happen a couple times to my buddy Andy yesterday. Well, hopefully Nick will call back, but I want to get back to, let's get back to the comparison between the Bears and the 49ers. And I hate making this comparison, but I want to do it in the context of red zone opportunities. The Bears lived in the red zone of the Chargers, and they only got 16 points. Only 16 points. It should have been 19 because Pinheiro missed what should have been an easy 41-yard field goal. But I question Matt Nagy's decision-making. I question his decision-making at the end of the game. You mean to tell me, as great as y'all were running, that you couldn't get an extra 5 yards? That you couldn't give David Montgomery some extra yards before the field goal? Could have made it easy from 36 instead of 41? Really? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's sad that the Bears have devolved. Mitch Trubisky actually had a good game. He didn't throw any touchdown passes. He threw an interception, but he came out throwing, and he threw for 235 yards against that Charger defense. And they couldn't get it done in the red zone. 3 field goals. Well, they got all 16 in the red zone. Could not get it done in the red zone. And these woes are going to continue unless Matt Nagy scraps his offensive scheme and develops another one and puts Trubisky at an advantage, a true advantage. Because right now they don't have one. They don't have a red zone offense. And if I were a Bears fan, I'd be so scared going forward because you got to see the Vikings again. You got to see the Packers again. And you have to see Detroit twice, once on Thanksgiving. You got to see Detroit twice. So I think that division is lost. I hate saying it, but that division is lost. Meanwhile, Bears are 7-0 on the year. First time they've been 7-0 since 1990. They drilled the Carolina Panthers by a score of 51-13. Let's get some highlights out for you. These are courtesy of KNBR. Before we get to the highlights, I think I have Thor back on the line. Man, what happened?
I looked at my phone, dropped phone call, botched phone call, and I looked on the back of my phone. I seen a Chicago Bears sticker on the back of it. I don't know what happened. Oh my God.
Nick Thorson back on the line with us. We apologize for the dropped call, folks, but you look on the back of your phone, there's a bear sticker. Oh my gosh.
There's a bear sticker. Botch plays, botch calls.
Well, let's look at a team that really put up some fantasy points and some real points yesterday. I'm talking about the 49ers, 7-0. Look at their defense. 7 sacks, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, they registered almost in a full point PPR league, which that really doesn't pay no mind or have any reflection on team defenses, but he put up almost 17 points.
Yep.
You know that defense is for real. That defense, they are for real. But I was just kind of Snowman. I was looking at their next upcoming games. They, because they put everybody in ooh and ah, and they are for real. I think with the going out acquiring Manny Sanders from Denver, you know what? They're trying to show folks, hey, you know what? We are for real. We're John Lynch is definitely trying to put the right pieces in the right places and actually get something going out there. It's been a while.
It has.
It's been a long while since you've heard that 49ers name in a positive light.
And it's happening. That offense came together yesterday. The whole team came together yesterday. And it's very key for them to get that win over Carolina because they have a short week. They got to go to Arizona on Thursday to play the Arizona Cardinals, who are starting to find their groove too, but they ran into a very hot New Orleans Saints defense.
Yes, they did. Yes.
If if you were Kyler Murray, what would you be thinking after facing the New Orleans defense, and then you got to face one of the best defenses in the NFL?
And then you see that ferocious 49ers defense coming to town on Thursday. Kyler Murray's probably, after. Well, you know what? Saturday night, he probably woke up a few times in a cold sweat. He thought, well, New Orleans. Okay, great. Oh, looking ahead. Yep. Let's see. San Fran coming to town on Thursday. There's another tough defense. Yeah, he's probably having nightmares for the next. He's going to be having nightmares for the next 7 days.
And they have to see him twice in a 2-week span. They have to see him twice.
Yes, they do. Well, and then look at that Week 10 slate at home against Seattle.
They will be ready for Seattle. I've been a 49er for 81. I believe they will be ready for the Seattle Seahawks. And the next 3 games for San Francisco are huge. They're already 1-0 within the division, but so is Seattle. If they can roar through these 3 games, twice with the Cardinals and once with the Seahawks, I believe they lock up the division.
I would have to agree on that. But weeks 13, 14, weeks actually 12, 13, 14, they got 3 tough slates. They've got Green Bay at home and week 12. Out east, Baltimore week 13, and then they go down to the Big Easy week 14.
I can't wait for that one.
that week 14 slate with Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be a great game.
That'll be a high scoring game, I'll tell you that.
I think so. Do you foresee Garoppolo getting into a shootout and being able to hold his own in a shootout with Drew Brees?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Drew Brees may get the ball last. I mean, that's just how good Drew Brees is and that Saints offense is.
Well, yeah, he can. That guy can make 4 downs turn into an hour. I mean, he's just that good.
He is wonderful. He is wonderful and fun to watch. I can't wait to see that one down in New Orleans. Because that's gonna be a fun matchup.
that will be in that. That would be a great test for that 49 defense. To see them go up against that offense, especially in the loud dome. I think if I was Shanahan leading up to that week, I'd probably have the guys practicing in a loud environment.
Mm-hmm.
Going down to that loud Superdome, they like to keep it loud. They don't want anybody.
Oh, they don't sit down. They do not sit down.
No, not at all. Not at all. Absolutely not.
They do not sit down, and it's gonna be one down in New Orleans. But these next three are my concern, because as far as I'm concerned right now, the 49ers are playing with a bunch of house money because no one expected like this 7-0. So if they get through the next three, they'll be 4-0 in the division play. And I think you can pretty much put the division in the book.
I can definitely see that. I could definitely see that. I think they.
And then after they get through those three, you mentioned it already, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers town. Yikes.
Well, right, and that's that Green Bay offense. They like to they'll. You don't know which Green Bay offense you're going to get. Are they going to start slow today, or are they coming right on the first?
I want to see what Aaron Rodgers does against that fantastic front four and that fast front four of the 49ers.
I'd like to see that too. Now, on that note, that Green Bay in San Fran, that week 12.
Divisional playoff. How about that?
I like it. Does Aaron Rodgers come in? Does he come in? Does he still have that chip on his shoulder?
Yep.
Draft year?
Yep. He's been playing with that chip on his shoulder for 15 years. And it took the 49ers to finally try his quarterback, but they finally do have him. And yes, he threw an interception yesterday, but if you look at Garoppolo and the time that he has in the pocket and the way he slings the ball over the field, he's getting his act together.
I didn't even Snowman. I didn't even catch how many yards he passed for yesterday. It just looked like the Tevin Coleman show out there yesterday on the offensive side of the ball. It was Tevin Coleman. It was the Tevin Coleman Bowl yesterday.
Oh, it was four total touchdowns for Tevin Coleman. But it's another piece of that 49er offense, that running game of the 49ers. Oh my goodness.
It's insane. I don't between Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, who left yesterday's game with an undisclosed injury. I didn't hear any reports on what it was. We'll catch the injury report on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But still, it's what. Now my question is, kind of shift to that 49er backfield. What are they going to do with Jerick McKinnon?
Let him go, because everybody else that has stepped in for him has produced. They originally got Jerick McKinnon to shore up that running game, but I've said for 2 years longer that the person that needed to be the bell cow is the person who is Matt Breida.
I agree. I like it. I think he's done a phenomenal job back there.
And then they pick up Tevin Coleman and the dynamic he brings to the offense, but the running back that makes this running game go is Matt Breida. They've needed to get Breida going for a couple of years now. You bring in Shanahan, and he finds a way to get Matt Breida the ball, not just in that running game, because they had to fix that offensive line, which is still missing 2 starters. Think about this. The 49ers are missing starters on the offensive line, and yet they ran all over Carolina for 225 yards.
Well, they definitely had the next two men up.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it takes to win the league these days. You got that next guy's got to be ready to step up. You got to be able to fill that gap, fill that void, and at least do the same job as the guy who isn't there at that time. So that's definitely what it takes to win in the league these years.
All right, give me your top performers from yesterday. Let's talk a little fantasy football. Let me, I'm gonna throw it out there. Let's have some fun. Give me your top performers. Let's start at quarterback from yesterday.
Quarterback. Let's see here. We had there was quite a few top performers yesterday. There's a few sub performers that are usually top performers. How about Gardner Minshew?
How about him?
Mustache sensation. I mean, at quarterback, yeah, definitely Gardner Minshew. Not to be downplayed, Derek Carr had a great game yesterday down in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
He's another one. He put up Minshew put up he had 20, 25, 26 points. Another top performer we just mentioned, Tevin
Coleman.
Tevin Coleman took on the Carolina Panthers single-handedly. I mean, it's like he took them on single-handedly.
He did. I saw a stat, a side-by-side comparison with Christian McCaffrey and Coleman, and I want to get the numbers right. McCaffrey's fantasy points were at 27.9. Tevin Coleman's were at 37.9. And Tevin Coleman had less yards than McCaffrey from scrimmage.
Yeah. I would say he definitely outplayed CMCS, aka Gary Sanders. That's a new latest and greatest nickname they've got for Christian McCaffrey, who I think is in 5 in next summer's fantasy draft pick.
Yep.
Another top performer I've got on my chart. You got a Kenny Golladay. Lions.
From the Lions.
8 targets, 6 catches, 123 yards, and found pay dirt twice.
What about my man George Kittle? Where did he end?
Oh,
I think he caught 6 for 85 yesterday.
George Kittle. Was George Kittle out there? I mean, it was kind of hard to tell. Yeah, no, you're right. You are right, Snowman. Yeah, he had 7 targets. He had 6 catches for 86 receivers.
You can't have a fantasy football conversation without George Kittle, who played himself into fantasy competition last year, especially with that 200-yard performance against the Denver Broncos.
Oh yeah, I've seen a few friends of mine went up against Kittle that week, and he single-handedly crushed dreams.
Okay. Who are some top defenses? If you play in a league that has that looks at defense, who are some top defenses?
Cedric Henry. Top defenses.
Did I lose you again?
Oh,
there you are.
We're back.
There you are. Okay.
Yeah, yep. I'm going to call that one the toe drag swag, little stutter step on the line here, but we're back.
the toe tap.
Yep.
Stay with us, folks. We're gonna improve this segment for the remainder of the season, all the way through the Super Bowl. I'd love to have you on each week. Before we wrapped up, give me some of your top defenses.
Some of my top defenses from this week. Your San Francisco 49ers.
7 sacks, 3 interceptions, and that interception by Bosa.
Yeah, insane.
That interception by Bosa.
Yep.
It just seemed like as soon as Kyle Allen turned around, he saw Big 97 with in his face, threw the ball anyway. Why'd you do that?
You know what? If I think if I had Bosa in my face, I'd probably run and just throw the ball, just get rid of it. It's like a Mack truck coming at you head on. It's like, okay, all right, I'm throwing the white flag. I'm getting rid of the ball. I'll throw it to the vendor.
I'll throw it 100 rows up, but I'm not throwing it at Bosa. Okay.
Exactly.
Another team that had a great defense yesterday.
New Orleans, great turnout there. Yes.
Held Cardinals to 9 points, 3 field goals yesterday.
Yeah. That was Kyler Murray getting a little taste of the NFL reality here. On that note, I think New Orleans at times can be an underrated defense.
Yeah.
They're gradually they gain steam, but there's some weeks they'll give you a flop. A lot of weeks they do it. I mean, they put it together.
They really do. They really do. Who's at the bottom of the barrel defensively? I have an answer, and a lot of people aren't going to like it.
Wow, I've got 3 right off the top of my head.
Go for it.
I'd have to, if I had to take even just 3, I'll start at 3. Jacksonville.
That's one.
I'd say the Jets aren't the Jets. they're not the Darrelle Revis-led Jets. It's not that Rex Ryan Jets.
It's not the New York Sack Exchange anymore.
No, it is not. I would say, you know what, that I'm actually kind of a little bit because I had high hopes for them. Cleveland.
Well, I can stick my chest out proudly and say the 49ers took care of that Cleveland hyped up defense on Monday nights.
That they did. You know, it's they sunk a lot of. They had a lot of money over there, and
they didn't fix the one problem that's killing them: the offensive line.
No, they didn't. They're looking to add to that line. I think we'll see what happens come tomorrow's NFL trade deadline. See if Cleveland decides to make any moves, help kind of bolster and keep Baker Mayfield up at least 10 minutes.
Yeah,
at
least.
Would be nice.
At least. I think that 49ers Browns game was really that defense's coming out party, because since that game against Cleveland, the 49ers have just stepped up a couple of levels. They got some tests coming up, but that Cleveland game really put them on the map.
You know, I would definitely like to see, like, now looking at that front office, just to touch on another note here.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at that front office and all of the cap that they had to play with and the faces they brought in and the moves that were made, the hype that they threw out there. I started jinxing themselves, by the way, by the overhype and talking before they were actually getting to start to eat instead of eating first. And then, you know, what happens? What happens this upcoming off season?
They clean house. If they were smart, they'd let Freddie Kitchens go and they'd clean house again. But we all know this is the Cleveland Browns we're talking about. And I hate saying it like that, but when you give the ball up on 3 consecutive snaps and allow a team like the New England Patriots to capitalize and turn it into points, something need to roll and some moves need to be made. That's Nick Thorson joining me as we talk fantasy football, NFL football, and we're going to make this a weekly segment. We're going to clean it up. We're going to really make it good for you guys. Nick, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Nick Thorson 6. Feel free to hit me up, follow me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. The Gordon Gecko of Fantasy Football. I'm there.
The Gordon Gecko of Fantasy Football, Nick Thorson joining me. I think I'll have him join me every Monday. What say you, my friend?
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks a lot, partner. Appreciate the time.
Anytime, Snowman.
I just found a segment I can add. I love it. And, of course, you hear the music, which means I'm coming up on a break. And when I come back from a break, I'm going to have Cole Johnson on to talk some more football with me, some baseball, and why players hate Stephen Curry so much. Second half of Snowman in the Morning coming your way. After this is morning, and I'm back in a flash.
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12. The new High-Q energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Skyberry Fusion, Coconut Fruit Punch, and Lemon Lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. High-Q energy drink. Wings are for birds.
Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. Your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americasdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This show sponsored by Unforgettables. Unforgettables creates detailed hand-painted baseballs for every baseball fan. Check them out at unforgettables.com.
Open calendar. What's my schedule looking like?
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an emergency flash flood between Park and First Street.
What? No, that doesn't work. Decline. Decline.
Floods don't exactly work around your schedule. Disasters ahead, but you can. It starts with talking to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. So don't wait, communicate. Visit lacounty.gov/emergency. Brought to you by the Los Angeles County Office of Emergency Management, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
That's
excellent.
Second half of Snowman in the Morning begins right now. I swear it begins right now. I want to thank everybody that has been patient. And if you want to ring the show, you can do so at 773-672-3208. That's 773-672-3208. Thank you, Nick Thorson, for joining me. We're going to turn that into a weekly segment. I'm going to put it together. There may be a day this week where I will not do a show because my work schedule is going to kick in the high gear. And there's so many adjustments that I have to make, and I got to do it in a short amount of time. Stay with me. And speaking of with me, Cole Johnson of Cole Sports is with me right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
How about those 49ers?
You know, I was just looking back at that game early this morning, and man, that we get that pass rush is awesome. Sherman looks like he's waking up how he played back in the LOB days in Seattle, and the 49ers seem to come at you wave after wave of the running. And this is the type of formula that would make a team have a good run all the way into January and into February, because they're strong in the places where they need to be, and they were tested quite well by the Panthers.
They were,
and the Panthers just they were hit with something that I think they haven't seen all year. And that was a wonderful job by Shanahan. I mean, he got that team ready, and they were impressive all game long.
And this is a short week for San Francisco. Thursday they go to the desert, then they get 10 days off, and then they get Seattle at home on the 11th, and then the following week they get the Cardinals again. But it's a key 3-game stretch. Green Bay comes to town, then they go to Baltimore, and then they go to New Orleans. Those 3 games right there will tell where the 49ers land at the top of the NFC. And the game I'm looking forward to is when they see Drew Brees in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's going to be that's going to be pretty much. I think they're going to regard that as a playoff. I mean, number 1 seed may be on the line when they play.
Yes.
You know, and how the Saints have been, and give credit to the Saints. I mean,
absolutely
they rallied behind their leader Breeze, and they looked at Teddy and they said, "We got you." The defense stepped up huge, and the offense helped him out as well. And of course, when Breeze comes back yesterday, the team looks like they never missed him, and they're just running as normal. The 49ers whale of a season, the Saints as well, and I'm looking forward to that matchup, because I really think it's quite possible we may only see 2 losses between them when they meet up.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And also with that game, that'll be later in the year. And the 49ers are looking ahead to the Cardinals. It's a short week. They're in the desert. And New Orleans taught us anything yesterday. You can expose the Cardinals. And with that defense that the 49ers have, Kyler Murray is in trouble.
The thing is, the Saints, they try not to blitz as much. They try to get that pressure up front.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job with the pressure up front and get the Murray all game long. And the 49ers don't have an issue with that.
No.
They can get at you with their front.
That front
quite
four.
Easily.
That's the fastest front 4 that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The front 4 they have in San Francisco. And they moved D Ford from linebacker to defensive end. That was a great move, and it allowed Ford to really blossom.
Mm-hmm. Smart move, and it now gives offensive lines the unfortunate that they have to ask themselves, okay, who to double, Ford or Bosa? And
or Armstead or Eric Armstead.
And if you double both of them, you have Armstead. So it's like, that's one of those questions offensive lines don't like to ask.
They really don't.
Yeah.
And from the top of the barrel to the bottom of the barrel, I can't believe I'm going to pose this question, but I'm going to pose it anyway. What the hell was Matt Nagy thinking?
Here's the thing. You have a stellar defense. You have a defense. Mm-hmm. All three stages are awesome. I mean, if you are a football fan, you will actually pay to see their defense operate.
Absolutely.
They have a great defense, but oh my gosh, Nagy, why are you putting the Bears in such horrible positions?
Why are you not running the football the same way you've been carving them up all afternoon.
And this is not. And yesterday was not yesterday was not a misnomer because this is a trend. They only ran 7 times last week against the Saints, and I mean 7 times all game. So, if you have a quarterback in Trubisky where you have who's getting the ball down the field, and you keep dropping them back to pass and dropping them back to pass, wouldn't it behoove you to try to get the pressure off of them, even if you only gain a yard or two by running, so you can actually give the defense another look? I mean, what can screens and flats do? I mean, you can only run that so much.
See, this is why I believe the season is lost for the Bears. They were 3. They were 3-1. Now they've lost 3 in a row. The Packers are hot. The Vikings are getting it to. The Detroit Lions won.
Lions. I was about to say Detroit Lions. Because now the Bears have to look at the fact that they were battling for, like you said, 3-1. They were battling for first. Now they may be at the cellar really quick.
Yep. And you got to see the Packers again. You have to see the Vikings again in Minnesota, and you have to see the Lions twice.
Yeah.
They're 1-1 in the division. Unless they run the table and somehow the other 3 teams lose division games, season done. Season over.
Yeah. Now, the Vikings may fall back down. It's only because I don't have the faith in Cousins to continue his hot streak. But I think Dalvin Cook is awesome.
Yes.
The dude just knows how to pick him up, put him down.
And he's healthy.
A healthy Dalvin Cook. Yeah, a healthy Dalvin Cook equals a really strong offense if you use him right. And so far this year, the half. And the Packers, wow, they discovered a running game.
Can you believe that? The team that have discovered a running game are doing very well in the NFC. Packers, the Vikings, and the 49ers.
Yeah.
They are all doing very well. And that's on the strength of a running game.
Yeah.
Speaking of strength, the strength of the Houston Astros have popped up. They're bats.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, what was a 2-0 series lead for the Nats, they find themselves facing elimination Tuesday night. That's scary on how quick the World Series has turned around.
Yeah. And all over fans, media, when the series shifted from Houston to D.C., people were saying, wow, the Nats are hot. The Astros are trouble. The series is over. And a weekend in D.C. turned that narrative quickly around.
That narrative didn't age well at all.
No, it didn't age at all.
It didn't age at all because I had people getting after me. Oh, what about the Nats being up 2-0? It's a long series.
Yeah.
And with the way Garrett Cole threw last night,
man, in the game, man, best arm in the game.
And that slider, that wipeout slider,
it's hard. That's the his slider comes at you hard, and you think it's a fastball the way it comes at you,
and then it just drops off the table,
and it just drops. Yeah, and it just drops. I mean, the array of his pitches, and he's beautiful to watch on the mound.
That slider reminds me so much of the forkball of Jose Contreras during the World Series won the run with the White Sox in 2005. It comes at you like it's a fastball, and all of a sudden it just dips.
Yep.
It just dips. And how much you want to bet they'll throw Verlander for Game 6?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah, that's happening. Verlander's on total rubber Tuesday.
And
that's the question.
And then there's Yordan Alvarez, my pick for Rookie of the Year. A Titanic home run.
Throughout the playoffs, he was struggling, and God bless him, he just kept going at it. He didn't give up. He didn't quit.
Nope.
And then when I saw that 2-run blast sail over the left side of field wall, I was like, man, look at that. Look at that perseverance pay off. And he was hot, and that's not just a home, but he was hot that game.
Yes.
He actually found his bat, and he was just locked in, leaning toward him for MVP. I mean, that grand slam.
Everybody wants to talk about Mike Trout and how great he is.
Year.
Look, Mike Trout had a great season. Don't get it twisted. He had a great season. But the fellow that has led his team to the brink of a world championship, that's Alex Bregman. He's the most valuable player.
And here's the funny thing. People were talking about how the Yankees were just basically just on a disabled list, one after another, after another, after another.
Mm-hmm.
But the same thing was happening with the Astros. And guess who was keeping them in all year? The one third baseman, where's number 2? Alex
Bregman.
Kept them in contention all year.
All year long. All year long.
Mm-hmm.
And that slam. That grand slam.
I looked at that pitch. I was like, that pitch was inside. He muscled it out. I'm like, how did he? I was like, how did he muscle that pitch out? I mean, I looked at that slam like 4 or 5 different times because I just couldn't believe how he adjusted to the pitch and just got really good solid wood on it. Like, oh God, that. I mean, it looked like he hit it off a tee. I mean, that was just it was
right there. It was right there. How can you go wrong with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this Astros group. I mean, everybody was just saying, well, it's all over. I mean,
and it was foolish.
It was Verlander.
It was foolish for them to say it was all over after just 2 games. Because the first thing I reminded folks of, remember what the Yankees did in 1996?
I said the exact same thing at my 9 to 5. I said, I have a feeling this is going to be a repeat of the 96 World Series when you had the Braves jump on the Yankees in Yankee Stadium 2-0. And then when they went to Atlanta, when they went to Fulton County, the tide turned, and the tide turned quick. And the same thing happened in this series. The tide turned quick.
And if you think about it, it took a big home run from Jim Ritz to even that series. What hit did it take for the Astros? Bregman slam.
That Bregman slam, yeah. You know, and I think that's the beautiful thing I'm seeing about this Astros team. You're only seeing Altuve's bat actually be consistent, and you would get certain timely hits from people.
Mm-hmm.
A certain timely hit from Correa, a certain timely hit from Gurriel, a certain timely hit from Bregman, a certain timely hit from Springer. When they got to DC, all them bats started to wake up, and I'm like, oh man, this team is in trouble.
This was the turn. I have the clip right here. This is courtesy of KBME from your hometown, Houston, Texas. This is courtesy of KBME, and this is the hit that changed the series. I believe I have, but this was, again, we'll talk. We spoke of it, and we'll continue to speak of it. Alex Bregman's slam changed this series.
And when I was listening to the commentators talk about Bregman, they were saying, "Man, he's not on. He seems to not really be here. He's not an impact in the playoffs run, in the playoff run the Astros had, and they just kept hammering that home. And all I kept thinking in my head was, let them get hold of one. Let them get a hold of one. Let them get hold of one. And as soon as I said that,
bam,
he stepped in, he hit his 2-run homer in game 2.
Yep.
I said, it's on.
Yep.
It's on. He got his one. He's locked in.
It was on after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that slam,
that grand slam.
basically turned the series around. It turned the hit that turned it around for him personally was that 2-run home running that evened the game at the time.
Right.
But that slam, you only had to question if it was fair or foul.
Mm-hmm.
You only had to question if it was fair or foul. It stayed fair, and it was long gone.
And before we continue, for a fan of a team that's on the road, even though I love hearing people cheer for my team, to me the best sound if the team you root for is on the road,
silence.
The best sound is absolutely stunned silence. And that ball hit into the left field seats, and the Astros went up 8-1. I love the fact that you could hear a pin drop. I was like, yes,
absolutely.
Oh, I loved it.
And it was a raucous crowd at Nationals Park.
It was.
They were up 2-1. They had they had the advantage, and then Alex Bregman took it away.
Yeah. And mind you, I mean, the game was still 4-1 before the slam, but the crowd was still in it.
Yes,
so the crowd felt, the crowd was buoyed by the fact that they did score 7 runs in this series at one time in an inning. Well, the realm, it's not out of the realm possibility. It can happen here. So when that slam happened, I was like, okay, yeah, this is game set match.
That was game set match indeed.
Yeah.
Now I must pose a question that has got on my nerve for the past few hours. And of course it concerns the NBA, but it's not what you think. We'll touch that subject in a moment. Cole Johnson joining me here, courtesy of Cole Sports. Why I saw this story while I was out making a hot chocolate run for myself and my bride. Why are NBA players so obsessed with going at Stephen Curry because of the way the Warriors started this season? I didn't even listen to the commentary. I just read the headline, and I normally dive into that, but I don't need to in this case. They've been doing this for a while, and now that the Warriors find themselves in unfamiliar territory, they want to heap the blame on him. Why?
I think it's because, he's the biggest name on the team. And I mean, now it's unquestioned he's the biggest name on the team.
Yeah.
Now, you and I both know he's been the biggest influence on the team, Durant included, since 2009.
Yes.
But people argued me up and down, saying, Durant, when he was there, Durant is the big, he's the biggest force there. I was like, well, he's the best player, yes.
What have you always said on this program and on your program? The straw that stirs the drink wears number 30.
Number 30. Yeah. Yeah. I don't care if it's Durant. I don't care if it's Clay. I don't care if it's Green. Doesn't matter who's playing on that team. The fact that they could do what they do, if you got number 30 in the mustard and blue, who could shoot it from 40, and you have to pick him up from half court, and he opens it up for everybody else to do what they do. No matter if it's they hit threes themselves, they can cut into the hole. No matter what, he opens up things for others on his team. So you have this who he is the 2-time MVP, the first and now only reigning first and unanimous. You have this guy who has wilded in the regular season, but people try to find chinks in his armor, and the chink that he normally go to is, well, he has 3 rings, but how many Finals MVPs does he have? And they use that as an argument point to slight him. When you put him against LeBron and say, well, normally people say when you have rings, it's how many rings in the era that you have. Well, say, okay, well, you have 3 for LeBron, you have 3 for Curry. But since you have 3 Finals MVPs for LeBron and 0 for Curry, guess who has the advantage? And you have those types of inane arguments that slams Curry. And now here you are, 2 games that they played, and unfortunately their defense has not showed up in either one, yet
Yet
the heap of the blame goes on him. And
they played two games, y'all. Two.
I understand that the number one player gets the heap of the blame. Team goes wrong, team does bad. I get it. But you have to put some of the blame on other players.
Yes.
I mean, Curry can't play defense in all 5 positions. Can't do it. And he can't score for all 5 teams. He can for all 5 players. He can give it a shot. He can give it a shot. Now that he could probably try, but you can't heap the. It's irresponsible for irresponsible for fans. It's irresponsible for people like us who are analysts. And journalists. It's irresponsible of us. Oh, the Warriors 0-2. They got blown out of both games. Or it's Curry's fault.
And you know something? I said that Draymond Green had every right to call out his players' defensive performance. He's the defensive straw that stirs the drink. I expect them to bounce back, and I don't blame Draymond Green for calling them out. Wake them up, get their attention, and they'll get it. And they'll get it together. Yeah. I know they'll get it together. Yeah. You can blame their defense, and their defense has been atrocious. They've given up 141 and 120 in their first 2 games, while they've only scored 102 and 90. But folks, there's 80 games left in the season. 80.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. You think they won't get it together in 80 games? I beg to differ. Meanwhile, a certain team in purple and gold is sitting at 2-1, and I don't think I have to tell you the reaction that I've been hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, 2020 world champs. I already know.
I don't think I have to tell you what kind of nonsense I've been hearing since the season started, and now that the Lakers are, dare I say it, 1 game 500. One.
Now, you said with the Warriors they have only played 2. The Lakers have played 3.
Yep.
So that means it's 79 games left. I mean, look, as a friend of mine once said, look, the sun shines on the dog's behind once in a while. So I mean, look, congrats to the Lakers. They played well 2 out of 3 games. I'm happy for them. If it were to continue, their record would be 55-27.
Yes,
that would be a really good season. I wouldn't for having that expectation and hitting that goal and that target. Cool, but you look. I could jump up and down because I'm a Rockets fan. I could jump up and down with the victory they had over the Pelicans Saturday night,
right?
And say, okay, we're on our way, baby. But no. Has the calendar turned to November yet?
No.
So we can't have Larry O'Brien dreams, and that is 7.5 months off. I mean, please, no. Temper those expectations. Look, and the Lakers have been abysmal for the last 7 years. I mean, it's baby steps. At least be happy with the fact that you got a team who can probably be over 500 this year. So
exactly.
Let's start with baby steps. Let's not even deal with championships. Let's not even deal with Western Conference champions. Let's not even deal with Pacific Division champions. Just deal with the fact the team can actually be over 500.
Since 2004 or 2009. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, they're minutes on 9.
They haven't been Pacific Division champions. Actually, that's wrong. Since 2010, because they won the World Championship then. Folks, the Pacific Division is not close to being decided. I think it'll take to the last game of the year for them to decide that division.
It might be, but you know what's funny to me though? It wasn't the commentary of Lakers fans saying, "Oh yeah, we're back, Showtime era." Make shows back. No, it was when the Slippers and Lakers fan was saying, I told y'all the Clippers are frauds. Look at that. They got beat by the Suns. What happened? Why? What happened to the team that beat us and beat the Warriors? They didn't beat the brakes off the Suns. Oh, my Lord.
Well, the Suns played a good game. Okay.
Yes.
They played.
And the Suns are young and full of talent.
Yep. They played. Listen to me carefully, Laker fan. A good game. Y'all may be 2-1 right now. And yes, I'm directing this to Laker fan, and I think you'll agree with what I'm about to say. Y'all may be 2-1 right now, but y'all haven't played a good game yet.
No. Meanwhile, the Clippers are shorthanded and they play 2. So, yep. I mean.
They're shorthanded.
The Clippers are shorthanded and they play 2 good games. So, I mean, look. All I'm saying to Lakers fan is just temper your expectations. I mean,
you know what? You and I both look. You and I both know a very ardent Laker fan. Okay, who's beyond emotionally invested, and I pick at him mercilessly. He's also a very ardent Dodger fan. I pick at him mercilessly about it, but calm down, man. There are 79 games left in your season. Talk to me in mid-April when either you've clinched a spot or you're close to clinching a spot. And you better be close by the time April gets. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it'll be an uphill struggle if by April you haven't clinched a playoff spot in the West. Man.
Remember last Christmas night? When
yes, I do.
The Lakers blew out the Warriors, and the internet.
Like I said, they threw a parade,
and the internet broke.
Yeah. As I said, they were throwing a party down. They were throwing a parade down Figueroa Street. When LeBron, they were throwing another one Christmas night. Because it's like, the Jets got the brakes beaten off of them by the Lakers. The Lake Show is back. We got the King. Oh yeah.
Yeah, talked late that night, and we were laughing the same way now that we were then.
Yeah. I'm like, the weight of this one regular season game, and yeah, granted, the Lakers played well.
Yes.
And the Warriors, unfortunately, they had an off night. But I mean that happens. So what makes it even funnier to me when you look back at it is, and we both said the same thing. It was like, it's just one night.
Yep.
And it's just one night. The Warriors will bounce back. And I can't remember if it was you or me, but I think one of us said, "Watch the Lakers." It probably was you. Watch the Lakers won't win another game this year from the Warriors. And what happened?
And they didn't.
It was 3 blowouts.
3 blowouts.
The next 3 times they played them. Was a shock when you said it.
Nope.
I agreed with you, and when those 3 beatdowns happened, I was like, yep, that lit a fire under them. And I figured they would, because the Warriors, they're the kings of the hill at the time. They didn't want to be embarrassed on national TV because the biggest platform the NBA had, World Championship Series / Finals, is Christmas Day. So here you are, the biggest stage of the regular season. You get the brakes beaten off of you. That's embarrassing. They didn't want to have that embarrassment happen again. And the Warriors did exactly what I thought the Warriors would do. They're like, okay, brush this off. We're going to kill everybody that comes in front of us. And did.
That included Denver. That included the Portland Trail Blazers. That included Utah. Teams that were actually competing for playoff spots, Laker fan. Okay? Yeah. Teams that were actually competing for playoff spots, the Warriors dispatched without issue. Do they have issues at the top of the season? Yes. They are very shorthanded. Okay?
Oh, gosh. They're extremely shorthanded.
They are extremely shorthanded, and they're going to look like they're playing extremely shorthanded. But the core, even with injury in tow, is still intact. Wait.
The core's fine.
So the core's fine. The team's going to be fine. And here's another comment that got on my nerve. When people say, we're going to see what kind of coach Steve Kerr is when he has to deal with all this.
Oh, you saw that too?
Saw it, heard it, had it said to me, and it kind of pissed me off.
We don't have to see what type of coach Steve Kerr is.
We've seen it for his entire run.
We already have. I mean, the same guy in losses is going to be the same guy in wins. He's going to keep his bunch loose. He's going to remind them what they need to do. He's going to remind them look at all the rings I got.
I think he's doing that already. If Steve Kerr were to walk away, his place in the Hall of Fame is secure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely secure. Five rings as a player, 3 rings as a coach, definitely secure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, he is fine. I mean, the way he approaches coaching them. You know, you even though he wasn't Durant's cup of tea, he's the most important player's cup of tea, and that's Curry.
Yep.
He breathes encouragement in them. He breathes motivation into them. He tries to not have them get too up when they're rolling, and he tries to not I want to say humble them, but he tries to temper them thinking that they have the big head. If he sees the big head, he will humble them.
Mm-hmm.
And if it gets too low, it's like, look, I've been down in those dumps. We've had those dry spells. We're gonna get back to it. We're gonna get back to the way we play ball.
And they are.
So
they're gonna get back to it.
So we're gonna see the type of coach Steve Kerr is. Losing streaks is not a to this guy.
No.
Whether the player or the coach. So
for God's sake, he played with the great and Michael Jordan, okay? When you had to play with Michael Jordan and you learned under the tutelage of one Phil Jackson, you've been there and you've done that.
Oh, and then Cherry on Sunday, he fortified that training by being under Pop. So I mean,
yep.
When you learn to me under 3 of the brightest, biggest, most expansive basketball minds that has ever existed in 75-year history of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You're bound to pick up through osmosis. You're bound to pick up something.
You're bound to pick up something.
So
okay, you're bound to something. And why? It just boggles my mind that all this trash heap that's being thrown at the Warriors right now, or this trash talk that's being.
But like I said to you, I said this to you on your show. I said this to you during last season.
Mm-hmm.
It is a case of these fan bases who see the king, and when they see the cheek and the armor of the king,
mm-hmm.
they decide to lob the tomatoes at him. It's like, okay, well, look, we want you out, doubt you out. Now you're tasting what we tasted. But the thing is, they don't realize, and it happens in every single sport. But if you see it more pronounced, you see it most pronounced in basketball. Fans need to have that king. They need to have that
mm-hmm.
opponent. They need to have that opponent that teams go after, and that they either can chop down or they chop themselves down. They need to have that.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, and you heard this, like, because we when especially when Jordan retired 25 years back.
Oh yeah.
The complaint was, well, there's no good NBA team, and again 5 years later, there's no good NBA team. Parody, it sucks. This comes from fans, not the media. This comes from fans.
Yeah.
There's no team. There's no one big team to root against. It sucks. But when you have that team, you want to lob bombs at them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and then when you lob those bombs at them, and they show the chink, you get all giddy and happy and excited. Well, will be, but just know that you want to have that. It's like that Jack Nicholson bit in A Few Good Men. You know, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. That's basically how. Well, that's basically how it is. You know, you want the Warriors on that wall. You need the Warriors on that wall.
Mm-hmm.
So you could either cheer for them, be on that bandwagon, and ride them to whatever glory they have, or cheer for their demise. Now, like I said, if you are like me, for another team that goes against them, I mean, I don't necessarily need the Warriors on that wall. I just want them to. I just want Rockets to beat them. Period. And if they can, that's fine. If not, I tip my cap to the Warriors. Say, you know what, you're a better team. And go about my business.
And to that point, they've had 4 shots against the Warriors
in 5 years.
Yep. They've had 4 shots in 5 years.
4 shots in 5 years. And how many times have the Rockets advanced because of that? 0.
None.
0. Man, all three times that all 3 places a Western Conference team can meet another Western Conference team, all 3 rounds, they have lost in each round to them. So I mean,
they lost to them twice in the Western Conference Finals.
Yes, 2 times in the Western Conference Finals. The first time the Warriors beat them 5, the other they beat them at 7. When the Rockets had home court advantage.
Yep. If you want to be the team that beats the Warriors, then beat them.
Yeah.
Okay? I do cover the NBA during the season, don't get me wrong, but I've said this and I will continue to say it. As far as the Western Conference goes, the Clippers are looking good, don't get me wrong. The Jazz are looking good, don't get it twisted. The Denver Nuggets, the Portland Trail Blazers, but it comes down until you're a Western Conference team that beats the Warriors 4 times in 10 days, be quiet.
And that's really what's about. That's really what's about. Until you knock the king off, you got to look at the king and say, this is the target. Every Western Conference team has to say, in the Bay Area, San Francisco, this is the target.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's been the target the last 5 years. This is the target.
And
they have achieved the last 5 years what we're wanting to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
We got to knock them off. That's what the other 14 teams in the Western Conference have to say to themselves.
They have to. They have to. You want to do something about it? Do something about it and beat them. Do what the Toronto Raptors did on the biggest stage in the NBA. They beat them in the World Championship Series. You want to be the team that is remembered, then do something that the Toronto Raptors did last spring. Knock them off in the World Championship Series. Or knock them off in the Championship Series.
Yeah. I was going to say, the Raptors proved they could be done.
Yes. And we set the program. Tears had nothing but smiles because the Toronto Raptors did it. It was one hell of a World Championship Series. I'll take that. And yes, I'm going to lob one big shot at you-know-who, but I don't care. I will take that championship series over the chicanery that happened 3 years ago.
But the thing, man, that gets celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had to have that moment.
Yep.
I will always say this: when LeBron came back to Cleveland back in 2014, my thought was, well, the NBA wants him to win a championship in Cleveland.
Yep.
I don't know when it's going to happen,
but it's going to happen.
But it's going to happen. You're going to have an NBA championship in Cleveland. Because it just the narrative was just painted so broadly for me.
And it was right there.
I'm coming home.
It was right there. It was right there. Meanwhile, the best basketball being played got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, but the NBA is happy because they got, on Father's Day 2016, they got their Cleveland. This is for Snoop moment.
See, that pissed me off the most. It happened on Father's Day. The best Father's Day I remember was when MJ won 2 titles on Father's Day. Okay? It makes me growl. To this day, it makes me growl.
Oh, man. But, yeah. But, I mean, to me, you know, LeBron fan they got their moment. You know, they got their moment where they could say, here is when LeBron was at his best. Now, I know, in my mind, you had the Warriors of fun, and you had the same guy that we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
say to the NBA, you know, their goon for the Warriors, he handed. You got to do something with him. You got to do something about that. And they moved him out to pay for Game 5. So, I mean...
And I have people to this day saying, "Oh, there was no chicanery." Wanna bet?
I mean, look, I proved this to you. The series before, I mean, Green was one technical foul away from one flagrant foul. I'm sorry, away from being ejected the game.
Mm-hmm.
And look, he had the penchant for kicking guys in the taint.
Yep.
And he kicked Steven Adams in the taint. He got away with it. Now, if you were going to actually lob a flagrant foul at him, it would have been then.
It should have been.
But they decided not to. He kept playing. We eventually in without a flagrant.
Right.
He gets tossed a game. Without one.
Without a flagrant foul. Because LeBron James dry snitched after he got worked over in Game 4. Got worked over in Game 4.
Oh, man.
If you think about it, he got worked over the first 4 games of that series.
Oh, yeah. Well, it set up the wonderful narrative. 41 in Game 5, 41 in Game 6, triple-double in Game 7.
Okay, that triple-double don't count because Kyrie Irving hit the game winner. I know it. I know it happened. And I'm having fun here. That should have been Irving's MVP. Not his. Not his.
You know it was going to be his because
I know.
They pumped the stats on him. He scored the most points. He had the most rebounds. He even had more assists than everybody on the team. He had more assists than everybody on the team. Yeah, it was.
I didn't
there.
even see the
then
moment
the
live.
block.
I didn't even see the moment live. Said Cleveland, this is for you, because after the final shot went up and those uniform-clad Cavaliers ran on the floor to celebrate, I turned the television off and went to bed.
Now I will say this to you: yes, the moment of this was the Kyrie Irving 3. There's no question about that. I mean, no question about that. You know, they would not have got that championship if it weren't for the Kyrie Irving 3.
Period.
But yeah, definitely. But I knew. I mean, people were saying, "Well, it should be Kyrie." I was like, "Nah." You're seeing it. You're seeing it on
the bad
TV.
part is,
It's
I
LeBron.
knew they were going to give LeBron the MVP. I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of here. Thanks for coming on, man.
No problem, man.
Oh, man. Thanks a lot, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bro. Thanks.
I got to get out of here. Go to work. On that note, have a great Monday, y'all. Don't forget, you can advertise with us by dropping an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. We're working on getting some sponsors, working on getting some advertisers, but we want you to subscribe to us as well. Go to YouTube, search out Snowman. You'll find where the air the show. Check out Snowman in the Morning. Join the email list as well. All that will be on the new card tomorrow morning. I got to go to work. Until then, till tomorrow, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams... Got it? I got to do it again. Until tomorrow, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. If you can laugh together, you can live together. If you can live together, you can love together. Remember that as well. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, Snowman out.